That's right. Back at it again, Full Custom Hot Dog here, doing another Blu Ray review. That's right. Today we're going to be talking about Day of the Beast, directed by Álex de la Iglesia. And this film's from 1995. Holds up pretty well. Got a wonderful 4K release from Severin. It's a dual pack, so if you don't subscribe to the 4K ideology, you can pop in your Blu Ray and enjoy it that way. That's where they keep all the special features. I'm still relatively new to the 4K game and have noticed that all the special features tend to be on the Blu Ray disc. I don't know too much about the tech or reasons why. It's something I've been meaning to look into, is seeing what makes the 4K disc 4K. Is it a special kind of disc, or is it just a Blu Ray double layer? I don't know. These are things that I need to know and want to know at some point. If you know, let me know in the comments. You probably do. But anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about the release itself. This looks and sounds great. I have watched it both in its original Spanish language, as that's how the film was made, and then in the cheesier English language, just because. Like, why not? I've watched it a few times. I like the film, but before we get into that, like I said, we're talking about the disc itself. So, what is on the disc? Well, quite a few special features here on the Blu-ray. You've got Heirs of the Beast, a feature-length making-of documentary, Antichrist Superstar, an interview with director Álex de la Iglesia. Always interesting. I could hear that dude talk about these things for a while, and I'm relatively new to being a fan of his. This is all Severin's fault now that I'm ready to buy just about anything with his name on it. The Man Who Saved the World, an interview with actor Armando de Razza, and Armando played Dr. Cavan, and he's pretty insightful. Everyone here's I like the interviews on this disc because everyone's actually talking about the production of the movie, some of the behind the scenes stuff, and normally that should be par for the course, but it isn't always. And there's some really fun tidbits inside, especially in that Heirs of the Beast, which is the making of documentary. Some really fun stuff happens in there that I really liked. And they even talk about the kind of the origin of his work with Action Mutante, I think it is. That I think is getting a release soon to Blu-ray or 4K. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I forgot who I saw mention that they're looking into an Álex de la Iglesias film. And I don't remember who it was. But because of who they were, made me think it would be that film. I know that's pretty vague, but I don't quite recall the details right now. And that's just a guess of what they're releasing. They said some kind of Álex de la Iglesia something. There's also Shooting the Beast. That's an interview with the director of photography, Flavio Martinez Laviano. Beauty and the Beast, an interview with actress Maria Grazia Cuccinara. I probably butchered that. She plays the girlfriend that arrives to the house of Dr. Cavan. And everything anyone has to say about her is nothing but kind words. How cool she was, how down she was to just hang out with everybody and grab beers and stuff. It sounds like a fun movie to have been on the set on. And then there's also Mirandas Asesinas, a short film by Álex de Iglesia that also stars Alex Angulo, who seemed to be, I don't know this for a fact because, again, I'm not too familiar with Álex de Iglesia stuff, but seemed to be a frequent collaborator of De La Iglesia. So that's always cool to see. I do enjoy when directors kind of have their regulars. It sort of makes it exciting to see if they're going to be in the next movie or who they're going to be. Also, another regular anyway, Santiago Segura, who plays Jose in the film, the metal guy. He seems to be a frequent collaborator as well and seemed to be a pretty big deal in Spain on his own. I was kind of looking through people's filmographies and was pretty surprised to see that he had so many credits and a ton of stuff. He even has a series in Spain where he plays, I'm guessing, some kind of super cop or something. I don't know too much about it, but I kind of want to see it. It's called Torrente, and it looks like there's 4 or 5 of these Torrente movies, and I kind of want to watch them all. I was thinking about renting them on Prime at some point. I don't know. If you've seen any of those and you can give me a recommend, give me that recommend, and I feel like I could do it in much better faith. So anyways, very solid release. Very happy. Loving all the special features. Again, great interviews. Fantastic set. I highly recommend this. This is going to be an A. I'm going to give it an A+. I normally don't give the A+ without some kind of commentary, but I feel like with the quality of the interviews and everything here, this has to qualify. I don't think it'd be fair to do otherwise because I like these interviews and everything so much. And it's just such a solid set. So, let's talk about the film itself. Day of the Beast. What is it about? Well, IMDb says, Bent on committing as many sins as possible to avert the birth of the beast, a Catholic priest teams up with a black metal aficionado and an Italian connoisseur of the occult. Now, he must become an unrelenting sinner. Is there still hope? So yeah, that's the gist of what it's about. So the priest, Father Beriatua, I probably butchered that, of course, is thinking he's on the same wavelength or receiving signals, basically, or seeing the signals to where the Antichrist is being born, and it is somewhere in Madrid. And he's hoping to be able to commit enough sin so he can end up selling his soul to Satan and also getting rid of the Antichrist and thus saving the world. And it's a pretty interesting film. So along the way, he meets, like IMDb mentioned, the black metal aficionado played by Santiago Segura, who does a pretty good job. Initially, that was supposed to go to Javier Bardem, but he didn't want to do it. Santiago wasn't even, I think they said, the top 3 or 4. And one of the producers said, "Hey, what about your friend?" And Álex, the director, kind of laughed and was like, no. He can't do that part. And I think he does it perfectly. Absolutely tremendously. I think he's perfect for this role as sort of this goofy metalhead who's constantly on acid. So anyways, they end up joining forces and they decide to enlist the help of Dr. Kavan, who is an occultist and has his own TV show performing miracles, exorcisms. I don't know, okay, maybe not the miracles, but investigating miracles probably. It just seemed like one of those shows where he's talking about the devil and horoscopes and all that stuff, you know? So they go to his house, perform some rituals, everyone drops acid, and things start to get a little more intense for them, as probably with help of their drugs, but they have also committed this ritual and are further looking for signs that will help them find the devil all the way until the end. Which is wonderful, because the whole time you're kind of asking yourself, is this real? Is any of this real? Are they actually being sent on a mission that they are receiving these signals or symbols or signs from the devil that leads them on their journey? Or are they just kind of being led by this delusional priest on this wild journey? One thing Álex de la Iglesia said is it is inspired by Don Quixote, which I found really interesting. I don't necessarily think that changes a film for it to be about someone's delusions and leading someone else on an adventure with them. But one thing I like, and like I mentioned, I'm new to Álex de la Iglesia films, that this does have in common with Perdita, is that in both films, there's coincidences that could be magic. And I like that sort of thing a lot because it keeps you guessing. Perdita never answers that question. I guess it could if you're a believer, but it doesn't if you're a non-believer. And this film does something very similar all the way until the end, which I like a lot. That all these things could be just coincidences. You know, if you're looking for signs, you're going to find them. If you're looking for something, you could find it out in the wild. Symbols, symbology, numeral, all that stuff. If you're looking for it, that's probably what you're going to get. But the priest could also just be completely crazy. So it's really interesting to watch and sort of think about if it's real or if it's not. And I still don't have a conclusion, and that may be part of why I like this so much. This film's a black comedy, a horror comedy, with the right amounts of both. This genre, making a horror movie funny all the way through is very hard. You can have a horror movie with touches of comedy, but to have a very effective horror comedy is incredibly difficult. I think that's why it tends to fall flat on its face so often. But here, everything is done in the right doses. The tones are constantly shifting just right to where you can laugh at the right times and be stunned and a little afraid at the right times as well. Keeps you on your toes and you're enjoying every second of it. This film is very, if you can't tell, I do really, really like this film. And I'm fully on board with Álex de la Iglesia's work. I do think this film is fantastic, and I can't imagine anyone not liking this movie. That's a feeling that I don't have often, because I like so much garbage, and I admit that most of the things I like are shitty. But I feel like I'm honest with you guys when I tell you this movie's bad, but I like it. That's my goal. Everyone likes bad movies, I think, but I'm going to tell you, hey, this sucks, and I like it, but I don't recommend it. Those are the type of ratings I like to do. I think that's fair, and most movies should fall under some kind of category of being good to you, or what I'm trying to say is I think this movie is just damn good and everyone should at least see it. I can't imagine somebody not liking this movie because it does everything so damn well. And it's a blast the whole time. It's such a fun ride. Anyways, enough ranting and raving about how much I like Day of the Beast. Fantastic. Severin, I hope you're getting more of this. Some interesting tidbits to note are that most rituals shown in the film are real Satanist rituals and weren't altered at all. That's according to IMDb. I do believe they touched on that. Pretty interesting to have this with Perdita at the same time. Both films delve into magic, I guess magical realism, magic in the real world, handling magic in a real way, and trying to be authentic. In the Perdita special features, Álex kind of mentioned how everyone involved in the film had dealt with some kind of magic in their lives, which sounds cheesy, but either having some relation or background or a little bit of dipping a pinky into Hispanic Mexican witchcraft or voodoo, all kinds of stuff. So both of those are great buys, by the way. But after hearing that in Perdita, it wouldn't surprise me that a lot of these rituals are authentic in some way. Apparently there were boycotts, they were receiving death threats from actual Satanist groups, which seems weird because I don't think this movie necessarily is an attack on any kind of religion, whether it be Catholicism or Satanism or anything. I don't think it is trying to be disrespectful to anything. At least it didn't feel like it to me. And thanks to this movie's success, Álex almost directed the American remake of this film, which could have been kind of interesting. Also could have almost directed Alien Resurrection as well, which probably would have been weird. I can't imagine his vibe on an Alien movie. Maybe that's what it needed. I don't know. Resurrection was pretty wild though. Pretty rough. But anyway, I digress. This is an absolutely fantastic film. I hope y'all check it out and potentially buy this thing. This is a great release. Severin knocked it out of the park. And I can't wait for more Álex de la Iglesia stuff, no matter who's releasing it. These are going to be some insta-buys from me. So anyways, I'm your host, Full Custom Hot Dog. You could follow me on Twitter. It's Full Custom Hot Dog without the last O, because that's just too long for Twitter. So thank you all for watching, and until next time. If you like what you see,
I love what I see.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you can watch whatever comes next. And if you like the music you hear, you can follow me on SoundCloud and Spotify. Check the description for links.